Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with ReadyNet Solutions. Today's host is Bill Pedersen, and he is their Voice Product Director and Sales, and he will be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box, and Bill will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Bill, thank you so much for being with us again today. Microcom loves having you and sharing new products that you release and give us a fantastic overview. I am finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Greatly appreciate the introduction, and thank you for everyone that's attending today's seminar. We are so excited to announce our new AX1801 wireless router. It is available. You can order this through distribution today. And we're going to talk about some of the features that we have on this router. And then we're also going to go into the management. We've talked about management in the past on our routers with ReadyNet's Nexus platform, but we've added a few new features and benefits that will definitely, as an MSP or as an integrator, you're going to really enjoy and say, yes, finally, ReadyNet has got this going. And so with that, let's start out with the AX1801. I'm not going to read too much into the slides. I mean, the biggest thing, one of the biggest things that we have is the OFDMA technology, which is the orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. And for our geek heads out there, what does this really mean for the layman? It basically allows us to have multiple devices, multiple users, and we can simultaneously transmit this data simultaneously across the Wi-Fi network. So we're using the standard IEEE 802.11ax, which is everyone knows as the Wi-Fi 6 standard. And I apologize for all the bings and blings in the background on my computer. But this is great because this will, as we look at this router and other routers that ReadyNet will be coming out with, this will answer a lot of questions of, okay, do you have mesh on this? Today, well, let's just ask that. We'll just go through that right now. Today, the firmware is in development for the mesh application. And so you'll see this become available probably in the next month or two. You'll have this option. So if you've got a very large environment, maybe it's an office environment, this will be very beneficial to join the routers together, give you better coverage, allows your devices, like if you're using Wi-Fi features on your cell phone, you can hop from one node to another without dropping calls. And same with your computers. You can bring that. You can basically extend the Wi-Fi network within your home or office. And we do have customers using this in a small office environment. And we'll go through some of the benefits that we've added to this product here in just a moment. So just from a feature standpoint, like we just mentioned, it is 802.11ax. This is the same new technology your cell phones are using, your new laptops, your tablets, everything else, and gives us better throughput. Notice on the 5 gig and the 2.4 gig, we're getting up to 1,700 megabits of traffic. And we did talk about the OFDMA improvement that allows multiple devices to go on here. Now, time to target wake up time to extend battery life. At one time, we were thinking that we might add a battery to this. I need to fix this on our data sheet. So this will all be published by the end of the week on our website, and we'll have this, this fixed as well. So there is no battery, nothing to worry about from that perspective on replacing batteries down the road. MIMO technology kind of ties into the Wi-Fi 6 technology. We've got 4, as you can see. It's kind of hard to tell on there, but I've got a picture of one here, or a live one sitting on my desk here. We can show you. It's got 4 DBI external DBI internals for beam forming. What does beamforming mean? Yes, this is to address mesh on the future products and this future radio as well. Full gig. Let me say that again. 4 full gigabit ports on the back. So you got 4 LAN ports and a WAN port that supports gig interfaces. Supports DHCP, static IP, PPOE, all the fun stuff. And we'll show you some of the neat things that we can do with this here in just a moment. Supports WPA for security, has a built-in VPN server, universal repeater, multiple SSIDs, WPS for provisioning other devices that you want, Wi-Fi scheduler that is part of the management tools, Smart QoS, and one other thing that we don't have on here is a guest network for guest users on your Wi-Fi network, and we'll talk about that. Parental controls, this is a system with Bark that you can work with Bark and have their firmware applied to this router as well and get some really nice parental control aspects. And as we go through some of these feature sets, if you have any questions, make sure you throw them in the chat for Julie, and we'll make sure we cover those here at the end. So some of the geeky techo specs on it, we use MediaTek chipsets. We've got a 256 meg of RAM. That's how we're able to add some of these other embedded applications. You might have an embedded application that you would like. A little bit about the interfaces, and the power is just 12 volt, 1 amp DC input. Now in the system indicator, we just use one blue on the top lid, and then we have our individual green LEDs on the LAN and WAN. And I'm going to just take this camera, and Julie, you're going to have to help me because I don't see this, but here is the router. Get some of that stuff off, and you'll notice there's a blinking blue light. So that LED will actually blink at different cadences, based on your network traffic. So you've got a visual.
It's good, Bill.
On the top. Thanks.
We can see it. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then there kind of gives you an idea of the 4 antennas that we work with also on there. On the back, let's see if I can flip this over. There's your indicators for your WAN port. I don't have anything in the LAN at this time. There's a reset button, and then also your WPA button as well. On the bottom of the product, we just have the standard ReadyNet logo, all the FCC, CE, RoHS fun stuff that we have to be compliant with. And it also has the username and password. Now, to be compliant in some of the states throughout our great nation here, we have to abide by having unique passwords. So we've gone from just one general password to a password that is specific. Let's see if I can put that back up. Tell me if I'm off there, Julie. But each router thank you, has its own unique password. And we're going to talk about that and how to manage those within the management portal. Maybe you might want to change something out with a common password on your routers. So going down wireless, there's our frequencies, AX, AC, N, G, B, A, the frequency range that we have on it, the data rates that we also do on it. Nothing really good. Now I do need to say though, our radios are very sensitive in its reception. And this one particular radio we do have in an environment, it's a multi-level environment where I'm going to say it's probably around 12,000 square feet on 3 floors on this home. And they have the router set right kind of in the middle office on the middle floor, and they're able to get full coverage with one radio, which is pretty impressive, able to cover their security cameras, their access points for entry, and also the computers and printers that are throughout the home as well too. So great sensitivity, great transmission rates on the router. Software wise, this is basically some applications that you can use it for. We can prioritize and do traffic shaping with this router. It's something that's kind of a touchy subject because a lot of service providers they don't want to be, supporting Johnny's Xbox or PlayStation on there, but we can set up static routes and prioritize router. You can also reconfigure the router to provide separate networks as well too. So maybe part of the network is work environment network and the other is entertainment, and you can do that. We'll go through that here in just a moment. And then just the contents, you get a router, power adapter, and a RJ45 Cat6 cable in it, operating temperatures, all that fun stuff. All the things that we would expect out of a router. So with that, I'm going to jump over to, how are we doing on time? We're actually doing really good. I'm going to jump over here to our management portal. And for anyone,
plenty of time, Bill.
Awesome, thank you. For those that have seen this in the past, you'll recognize some of the images that we're going to be showing here. This is a dashboard from the service provider's perspective, and we're going to make this. I'll share this with you. We're in the process of making this more layered. So as the MSP, you might want to be able to share access to specific routers for your customers, whether it might be the integrator or maybe a service technician and the end user. And so we're working on this multi-layer system that is coming here shortly, and we'll be excited to announce it. One of the things that we notice that when we do feature updates on this is that sometimes we don't do a good job in getting the information out in regards to these new features. They just show up within the panel. So if you ever have a questions, make sure you reach out to ReadyNet, their engineering services or customer service, and we can go through that. And if we need to, we'll be more than glad to do training. But I'm going to just go over some of this information here on the first page. And this is kind of I'm going to go back and use one of our customers' devices here. PHOS. Oh, I spelled it wrong. POOS. Let's try that one. There we go. That we've got set up and online. This is nice because now you can see some of the traffic. There's not a lot of traffic going on my router, but I think we can be able to share with you some of the same things that we have on all of them. Right here, this top bar, this is going to show you connection and disconnection status. So we can go by day, we can go by week, we can go by month, and it looks like we go by year on this. And this is kind of interesting because you're going to notice there's a lot of red here. This is actually when we swapped out a previous router for this customer to this new AX1801. And it was about sometime in April that we did that. And it looks like we had a little downtime right there. So it's good historical information. You can also pull this up, and I'm not sure why the week and years showing clocks, but that might be something engineering's working on right now. But it's great because if a customer says, yeah, I had an outage, you can come in and look at this and it'll timestamp it, gives them their IP and the time and day that outage occurred. Scrolling on down, you can look at your traffic. This is their LAN traffic of the devices that they've got. Here's their WAN traffic. Here's their IPv6, not much going on. And then You're going to notice they have a guest network here too, so we can see their Wi-Fi. They do a little Airbnb situation here for their guests, and so their guests have access to the Wi-Fi as well too. But you can see all their devices, their DHCP lists that they have on it, their wireless interfaces, and all their wireless clients that they have associated to the device. Now, under the configuration, this is where you can go in and change that password that we dedicate on each of the routers. You can go in and give it a device name. You can change it. You can associate it to your account. Actually, ReadyNet will do that when they ship them out. They'll make sure they're already loaded into your portal. We have WAN, or where you can do static PPOE. You got your LAN settings as well. And then you also have your wireless. Now, this is the fun part that we've added to this router, is we've added a guest Wi-Fi in here. And you'll notice we can add the SSID and the passphrase, but we can also bandwidth or band limit throttle the data that is on its upload and download. 0 meaning that they have no limits, but we can change that in kilobytes. So we make sure that the guests don't utilize all the bandwidth that they need. Then we've got diagnostics. You can do Wi-Fi scans, you can do speed tests, you can do trace routes, and a ping test up here as well. Preferences show us where we can actually change the MAC and serial number here if we have to replace out a router. Then it'll automatically upload its current config file. And then we also have our management as well too. So the routers that you'll see ship out from a factory will come with 1.0.9, and we're recommending all of our customers update this to 11. And then this is the 1.0.9 BARC, which has the parental control feature sets. Current firmware will always show to the right here, so you can get an idea of what you've got. You also have the ability to reset the settings to factory defaults and force the firmware to upgrade. So some pretty good little features there. Let me go back to my router here. So if we look at the my router, if we go into the status page, you'll notice that at the top here, we have some buttons. We have confirm a reboot, which allows us to just remotely reboot the router. We have a reset button, which allows us to do a factory reset, wipe everything out. And then we've added this new button. This is the web user interface now. So now I'm gonna get this little pop-up, says please confirm. And when we go to it, oh, it's did it again to me. I get this 503. Let me try it one more time here. Yeah, it did do it again to me. Let me check something here real quick. And we're gonna see if I can get that fixed here. Really can. Sorry for the little delay there. And I'll get a little message back here once we do it, because I want to show you this, because basically what this allows, what's going to happen, it's going to give us a secure token key to log right into the router directly. When we do this, let's see if, yeah, here we go. So now I'm logged directly into the web user interface, just like I was connected to the router. And I put in the wrong password here. Let's see if we can do this again. 31 Delta 5 Delta. Okay, let's see if that does it. There we go. We'll save that. So now I'm logged into this router through a secure token on that we have set up, and this token always changes. So if we log out of it, you can't just do a copy and paste and be able to log right back into this router. So every time we request that, it gives us a new token key, and so allows us to log into it. So this is where I can come in and now do all my custom configurations on my router. So if I got some routing tables that I want to add, I can go in and do it. If I want to set up some firewall rules on here, I can do that as well too. I can go look at my system logs if I need to see what's going on with the router. It just gives you everything that you need from here. I can even do firmware, or here we go, we can do firmware updates, and I can do config changes as well. I can also reprioritize. Here's my route tables for my interfaces, and this is just the simple stuff that we have here. And for those that are more experienced, they can go ahead and add a new interface, reroute traffic for port forwarding for those gaming consoles that we talked about as well. Also, we got our diagnostics page here, QoS priorities. If we're working with a customer and maybe we need to set up VLANs to separate the voice traffic, we can build that here and prioritize all that traffic. Do VPN configurations. We work with OpenVPN on it. So if you're familiar with OpenVPN, this is a great little tool to allow you to set up those VPN connections to a remote office or to another server. And then, of course, on the dashboard, this just gives you some general information on the system, firmware, model, IPv4, IPv6 information, our DHCP leases. I don't have anything connected to this, so we won't see that. And then also our Wi-Fi. So this is a great little tool. And what I wanted to show you is in configuration under wireless. So right now, I don't have a guest Wi-Fi set up. If I wanted to do that, all I have to do is just enable it. My new screen's going to come up, put in the new SSID, put in the passphrase, and then rate limit or throttle the data that I want to go out to my guest users that are on this network. So it's nice because now I don't, for a home user, kids bring their friends over and, oh, let us on your Wi-Fi. You can say, yeah, here's the guest Wi-Fi, here's the SSID, here's the passphrase, and they don't have to take over your entire network. Plus, on the guest Wi-Fi, this is a completely isolated network. They can't see anything on your other Wi-Fi network or on your LAN network that you have, your printers, your other computers, your televisions, whatever. They only get to see, basically, they don't get to see anything. They just get to, have, limited internet access. And so that's a mouthful. We covered a lot here. And I think this is probably a good spot to just kind of pause and Julie, open it up for questions that anyone may have at this time.
Bill, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. And of course, I've got questions from my audience. Let's get started with the first one. You may have touched on this, but if you could touch on it again, what is the coverage range of the ReadyNet AX1801 router?
Well, that's a great question. Under an ideal situation, it can be measured in different ways. Unfortunately, with the structures of the buildings today, homes, whether it's a wood or aluminum structure, we get different performance. But I do know that I've been working with on with one of our customers. They have about a 12,000 square foot home on 3 levels. So they have an upper level, the main level, and then a lower level. And they set their router in the middle of the middle level. That's kind of get an even disbursement, and they get complete coverage within their home and also on the upper and lower level, and also in their garage as well for their security cameras. And they have probably outside the house, at different points, they probably have 6 to 8 cameras that they actually have connected to this as well. So mileage will vary based on the home, but what we're seeing, this has really good coverage for the home. In fact, I've said this in the past with some of our other routers, that this router, or our routers, have the best coverage. This router has the best coverage that we have today.
Thank you so much, Bill. Appreciate that. Next question here for you. Does the ReadyNet AX1801 router support parental controls?
Yes, it does. We do it you can add in some clients on this router that you can just download and add the parental control. And then we also support BARC. It's BARK firmware, and we actually have it loaded in our portal so customers can use that to load it onto their router. They go set up an account with BARC, and you can do time of day, all that fun stuff, and site management and access through their parental control program. So yes, we do support parental control.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question here. Are there any advanced settings or configurations available for power users?
For power users, yeah. So I'm thinking from a power user perspective that you're going to probably want to limit or throttle down other devices. And so when you go into your device settings on your network interface, that's where you can actually go in and limit the amount of data that those devices can be using on those ports. But that's on a per port perspective. We don't have that feature on Wi-Fi at this time.
Thank you so much, Bill. Next question here for you. And you talk about warranties. We ask about warranties all the time. So
Yes.
What is the warranty period for the 1801?
See if I've got it on here.
Okay.
I don't see it, but warranty is 1 year from time of purchase, and that's based on working function. If there's something we have to do to replace it or repair it, we'll do that if it's within the warranty.
Thank you so much. Next question here. What is the minimum number of devices that can be connected to the ReadyNet 1801 router simultaneously?
Good question. So that really depends on your network environment, how you have it set up. You can have as many devices that you can support IP addresses for on this router. Just 256 is pretty much the standard right out of the box. But then you can also set up different network addressing tables as well, which would do its own IP address range as well. So yeah, it's same as any other standard router that's out there. You can customize it to do whatever you need based on your requirements.
Thank you so much, Bill. You may have touched on this. The question is, how many SSID are there included with the ReadyNet devices?
I believe, let's take a quick look, and it might show it here, it may not, but I believe we can do wireless. I think you can do up to 8 SSIDs on this device, plus your guest network.
Excellent, thank you. Last question here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you throttle the connections based on percentages for devices, 20% to guest network and priority into the rest of the in-house network?
That's a great question. So there would be 2 ways to do that. And right now, the hard answer is no. Based on a percentage rate, to say give 20% of the available bandwidth to a device, and then the rest to everything else. We don't have that right now. It's all you have to type in that bandwidth requirement. So like I was showing on the guest Wi-Fi, you would do that in kilobytes of upload and download ability. A percentage would be great, and I will mention that to our engineers because that's a lot easier to figure out than maybe in kilobytes. So I think that's a great question, and I'll take that back. So stay tuned for a firmware update that would allow that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Bill. And thank you for answering all of those questions for us this morning. And thanks to everyone for attending today. And if anyone does have any further questions, of course, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, please remember this presentation has been uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so that you can view it again or as many times as you'd like. Bill, thank you. Appreciate you as always. And until next time, my friend, which will be in the near future, we will do this again. And thanks to everybody. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks, Julie. Have a great day, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.